What up? What up? What up? We right back, as we said. I'm still even getting situated. My bad. My text messages, my tweets, all of that, DMs. I see y'all. All right, let's pull it up. Let's get to this. Let's figure out what's going on. Breaking news: Diddy verdict not guilty of Rico is what we seeing. It also is what we predicted. We're gonna start pulling up a lot of these reports, these articles, everything that's coming out of the courtroom right now. We're going to take a look at everything. First things first, let's start to look at one or two credible sources just to make sure that our title isn't bugged out. Make sure we're not tripping, okay? What do we got here? Sean Combs found guilty of prostitution, transportation, acquitted on all other counts. This is coming from the Washington Post. Okay, a jury found Sean Diddy Combs not guilty of the most serious charges against him Wednesday morning, sex trafficking and racketeering conspiracy, but found him guilty of 2 prostitution-related charges. People, were we on point or not? All the way down to when the verdict would come in. Were we on point? On Tuesday, the jurors reached a decision on all counts except racketeering, conspiracy, and were ordered to resume deliberations. They reached the unanimity shortly after resuming discussions on Wednesday, deciding to convict the world-famous music producer only on 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution, which carry maximum 10-year sentences. Is that 10 and 10? Or is that 10 total? It says sentences. Okay. The charges: Combs was found not guilty of all carried maximum life sentences. He beat his life sentences. Okay. The trial revolved around accusations that Combs abused 2 girlfriends. We know that. This ain't the time for that. Combs has been listen, it's not time for that. It's not time for that. All right, cool. So we got that piece. Hold on. Let me pull up separately. We're gonna find all of this. We're gonna find all of this, people. All of this going on. We're gonna get all the way down to the details. We're going to get all the way down to the details here. What do we got with this one? What's this?
The charges. Combs continued to pump his right fist subtly, seemingly satisfied that he was acquitted on the most serious charges, says AP. Yesterday, the Sean R. thinks he basically got off. Well, he got convicted of, I assume these are 2 felonies. I assume it's a felony count. So he would be a convicted felon. I mean, given that it carries a max of 10 years, I would assume it's a felony. I'm not positive. The transportation for prostitution. Also, he could have to do prison time. And he already did 9 months in prison. So he has already spent 9 months in prison. So just to be clear, he has not gotten no punishment whatsoever. I don't know if I'm doing Brian Kohberger hearing coverage, especially if I don't have video of it. I don't know. I just don't know. We'll see. Let's see here. Our viewer Bonzilla says he's been locked up for 9 months for prostitution. The charge was transportation for prostitution. Just to be clear, his lawyers were arguing, well, just to be clear, he is being convicted on prostitution charges because clearly the jury believes, the jury thought it was proved beyond a reasonable doubt that he did the that Diddy violated that law, that he is guilty of transportation for prostitution. So clearly
let's pause this for a second. We'll come back there. Let's take a look at this. Let's jump over to our friend Inner City Press. Let's jump over there real quick. What do we got here? Adjourned. If like and can. Okay, so this was 12 minutes ago. Diddy on trial, week 7, closing on to jury. All right, this was 12 minutes ago. We are now at 10:50 a.m. Eastern Time at 10:38. Okay, 12 minutes ago, after judge leaves courtroom from the gallery, a loud clapping and cheering as Sean Combs is led back into the holding cell. Oh, they are taking it as a victory. People, I nailed this shit. I said, shit, if he get like 5 or something like that, he's gonna consider that a victory. It might be facing 10, but he's gonna get sentenced for the charges as we're seeing so far are adding up to 10 years he's facing. That's what we're seeing so far. We're still gonna unlock all these details. But if that's the case, you don't know if the judge gonna max him out. What if the judge does give him 5 or 7 plus time served? Then he gets in and don't know when he's eligible for parole. Could be eligible for parole in half the time of what he's sentenced for. All of this, he lands with the time that we predicted. 50 Cent. What? All he gets is a year. Hey, when it's all over, come work for me. Yo, chat. I think we pretty much nailed this down, man. Breaking Sean Combs guilty of transportation for prostitution as to Cassandra Ventura and Jane, but not guilty as to sex trafficking, not guilty to racketeering. Inner city press. Oh my, we nailed it. Oh my God, we nailed it. We nailed it. We nailed it. I can't give no sex trafficking to Jane and Cassie. Go back to the stream 2 nights ago, people. 2 mornings ago. We couldn't give it to him. We said, nah, I don't see that proven to me. Prostitution, what did we say, chat? To the letter of the law, cross a little state line, this person comes in, sex is conducted, money is paid, money is received, letter of the law, prostitution, yeah, they're gonna snag them on something. The prostitution counts. Wow. At 10:10, Sean Combs had been brought back into the courtroom by U.S. Marshals. He is seated with Brian Steele on his left, Tina Gallegos on his right, his family in second row to the gallery. The judge, we have received a note on to 9:52 a.m. Let's click into this one. Okay, Judge, we have received a note 9:52 a.m. It reads, we have reached a verdict on all counts. Anything to address before we bring our jury out? No and no. Judge, maintain order while the verdict is being read and until we have jury out. 39 minutes ago. Yeah, they wasn't playing. They didn't need no, we guessed the timing perfectly, people. They definitely said, well, you ain't keeping us during July 4th. Judge, I'll ask our deputy to bring back our jury. Sean Combs remains seated. His 8 lawyers are standing up. Judge, all rise. Combs stands up. Jurors enter. That was 37 minutes ago. 36 minutes ago. Judge, we have received your note. Juror number 5. Have you reached the verdict? Juror number 5. We have. Judge, is it unanimous? Juror number 5. It is. No hung trial, no mistrial, people. No mistrial. Unanimous. Judge, please provide the verdict for the deputy. Judge, the deputy will inquire as the verdict deputy in the matter of U.S. Combs, count 1, juror 5, not guilty. Deputy, sex trafficking of Cassandra Ventura, juror 5, not guilty. Deputy, transportation by prostitution, guilty. Hit him there. Deputy, Jane, sex trafficking, juror 5, not guilty. Deputy, transportation for prostitution of Jane, guilty. That's the 2. That's the 2 right there, the prostitution. Wait. So is the first one Cassie? The first one's Cassie, right? And the second one, oh my God, we nailed this. Yo, we nailed this shit perfectly, B. It's saying even down to the fucking Cassie and Jane and what's the name? Top 3 biggest shit. And Jane she overtook Cassie, in my opinion, right? As far as how relevant she became to convicting Diddy. 50 Cent's baby mother. I damn near want to pull up our old streams. What the fuck? Jane, sex trafficking. Jury 5, not guilty. Deputy, transportation for prostitution by Jane, guilty. Judge, I asked the media not to question jurors about their deliberations. Jurors, you can contact our chambers. You gave up a lot these 10 weeks. It is inspiring. You work together, rain or shine. You answered the call of public service that should give us hope. Judge, I need to address a few matters with the lawyer. Then I will come back to meet with you, jurors. All rise for the jury. Jurors, exit for the last time. Judge, I'll hear any application, then about at a sentencing date. Combs, Ignifilo, he should be released. Oh, can you get in trouble for screaming that out? Combs, Ignifilo, he is no longer charged with sex trafficking. Or no. He's pleading right now for what he's being charged for. To hold on. He is no longer charged with sex trafficking or racketeering. His plane has been chartered. It is in Maui. He does not have access to his plane. This is his first conviction, and it is a prostitution offense. He should be released. People, shit. Even Eddie Murphy caught that. Isn't that what Eddie Murphy caught? And Eddie Murphy was skating around, skipping around, doing interviews saying, oh, no, I was just trying to be nice. And I picked up a little girl on the side of the road and I was trying to be nice and give her a ride. I'll say allegedly. Right? If that's what you got him on, Mark, go ahead, ride out, Mark. Let's see what Mark is on. He's no longer charged with sex trafficking or racketeering. His plane has been chartered. It is in Maui. He does not have access to his plane. This is his first conviction, and it is a prostitution offense. He should be released. Combs Ignifilo, his family is here and could sign a bond. He should be released today to go back and live at 2-Star Island. Judge, this is just coming up right now. I will hear from the government in a moment. Are you proposing he just walk outside now? Answer, yes. Judge, you are proposing $1 million bond? Combs, Ignifilo, yes. And travel to Florida, New York, and LA. U.S. Attorney Comey comes in and says the U.S. opposes his release. A person found guilty shall be detained until the judicial officer finds he is not likely to flee or be a danger. USA Attorney Comey, then comes the defendant. The defendant faces a maximum sentence of 20 years. Even while faced with this case, he assaulted Jane. Here in New York, prosecution still in there fighting. He assaulted Jane. 50. Grab your BMB. Here in New York, preparing to surrender, he had drugs in his hotel room, was ready to commit this same offense. Judge, I'm not going to resolve this second. I need to review the statutes. Miss Comey, do you have a case in which bail was denied after conviction under the Mann Act? You may confer and come back. We plan to be here the whole day. So being that this all started unfolding about 45 minutes ago, they still got the rest of the day to argue, debate, and figure out if Ignifilo, Diddy's lawyer right here, is going to be able to get it situated where Diddy could just post bond on the spot right now. My private plane is over there. I got $1 million in front of you right now, so I don't got access to my private plane. What's up? Oh, shit. That's power on the low. That's power. Nino Brown didn't get that. They was taking Nino Brown back into custody. They fucking read Diddy's conviction and said guilty of the 2 prostitution. They stood up and say, here, hold this $1 million. Bitch ass niggas. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Say word. Nigga just said, wait, everybody, hold on. I got to figure this out. We got all day. We still got all day. While they cheering in the fucking courtroom for Diddy. Wow. U.S. Attorney Comey. I'm aware of the cases involving minors, but we intend to raise relevant conduct at sentencing. The drugs and violence. Judge, I'll like letters from each side. When? U.S. Attorney Comey. A few hours. That would be today. Judge, I think that makes sense. Mr. Combs does not want to go back to the MDC. He is shaking his head. So 1 p.m. letters and we'll convene in the afternoon. I'll let the parties know when, Ignifilo. He would be a fool when he is not to violate any condition. Ignifilo is showing his colors right now, boy. He's okay. Ignifilo on his Brian Steele. Adjourned 18 minutes ago. 10:38 a.m. Judge leaves the courtroom. From the gallery, loud clapping and cheers as Sean Combs is led back into the holding cell. Okay. Wow. What do you got for me? Inner city. You got anything new for me? What's going on in there? Are they still at break? Hold on before I read that. Hold on. Diddy trial, July 2nd. Sean Combs not guilty of Rico and sex trafficking, convicted of Mann Act, wants bail. That's what the prostitution is under. We just read the Mann Act and broke that down this morning, people. Yep. Does it got a breakdown in here? What is this? Let's check this out together. Let's see what this is. This is from Inner City's Twitter. What did they got here? Inner City Press. Once again, shout out to Inner City Press, boy. Sean Combs not guilty of Rico and sex trafficking, convicted on Mann Act, wants bail. Yep. SDNY Courthouse, July 2nd, 4:30 p.m. on September 16th. Innocent. Okay. July 2nd. The jury came back with not guilty on Rico and sex trafficking, guilty only on counts 3 and 5. Transportation for prostitution. Combs' lawyer, Ignifilo, asked for release on bail. The judge asked for letters at 1 p.m. All right. So it's 11 a.m. right now, Eastern. By 1 p.m., when they return back to court, the prosecutor should have their write-ups to pretty much convey their position on why Diddy should not get bond right now. And even if it's not just, it looks like they're not even just fighting for don't let him out right now. Because you see, they mentioned things like, what about the dangers he presents? He hit on Jane and the drugs and all that. We plan to talk about that at sentencing, but you want to let him go right now? Hold on. I mean, let's start to Google how that goes. How does that go? So they say it carries up to 10 years. Starts to carry up to 10 years. Let me put this on while I do some Googles in the background with y'all. I got y'all. Hold on. Let's put this back on. Let's put this back on. Hello. What's wrong with my
The jury didn't think that nobody was a prostitute there and that Diddy was not involved in having and transporting prostitutes. That is why if the jury thought that no one was doing any prostitution, then they wouldn't be convicting him of transportation for prostitution. The jury had to decide that that was proved beyond a reasonable doubt. According to the article I read, you said it was talking about what Diddy's lawyers said. Diddy's lawyers were saying that the sexual activity described by prosecutors was consensual. That's what his lawyers were saying. That's not what the jury said. And that's not what the prosecutors said. I hope that makes sense. Clote. Thank you, Clote. So the jury did not say that. Thank you, Clote. If the jury thought everybody was there consensually and nobody was getting paid, then it wouldn't make sense to convict him for prostitution-related offenses. Let's see here. Mr. Media Man, our viewer, thinks it's a huge loss for the prosecution.
I agree.
Truth Bomb thinks it's OJ all over again. Wow.
OJ,
that's a bold statement.
Right. Bold as shit.
So again, what's happening here is it's not going to be determined until after 1 p.m. whether Sean Diddy Combs gets to go home free before sentencing. So we're not even going to see anybody come out of the court right now. You can see here from Associated Press, Sean Diddy Combs was convicted of a prostitution-related offense, but acquitted today of sex trafficking and racketeering charges that could have put one of hip-hop's most celebrated figures behind bars for life. The mixed result came on the third day of deliberations, so it was pretty fast. At the end of the day yesterday, the jury had said that they were deadlocked on the.
I think most of us believe that the Rico wasn't one that he was supposed to get tripped up on, like this one man sexual based Rico. All right, let's take a look at a full breakdown and a read of the charges as they were beaten or found guilty on. Okay, so I got this up here. Y'all can see this. Cool. Count one, racketeering conspiracy, not guilty. The government charged Combs with violating the Racketeer Influence and Corrupt Organizations Conspiracy Act by conspiring with a criminal enterprise to carry out a pattern of illegal behavior. Prosecutors accused Combs of running a criminal enterprise comprised of his staff and associates to commit crimes including sex trafficking, kidnapping, forced labor, bribery, arson, and obstruction of justice since at least 2008. This was done according to the government so Combs could abuse, threaten, and coerce women and others around him to fulfill his sexual desire while also protecting his reputation by concealing his behavior. RICO laws were created in 1970 to prosecute people involved in organized crimes such as mafia members. The charge carried a maximum sentence of life in prison, the most severe punishment out of any of the charges. People, once again, we believe he was supposed to beat this, and he did. Racketeering, Rico. Come on, son. Come on with all this John Gotti shit for the nigga being freaky. Cut it out. Cut it out. We on point there, people. Let's go to number two. Count two, sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion. The two people that were in the jury sheet yesterday was Jane and Cassie. Where did we check that box? We said, fuck no. We ain't giving them no sex trafficked. We ain't giving them no fraud. And we ain't giving them no coercion. Now, the scary part for Diddy yesterday was when the jury sent back a request for the transcript describing the details around when Cassie was on the plane and Diddy allegedly told her, get ahead and move the wrong way. And this tape of you, it's coming out to the public. And I'm also sending it to your family. So you took that one little piece of your 11-year career threat. Come on, man. Y'all be threatening y'all. I'm not saying y'all do it with fucking freak off tapes, but you know how many times a fucking woman done threatened me, B? What are you going to say? Coercion? I swear to God. No lady I've ever been with threatened me, and I never fucking take her anywhere and say, yo, this bitch got me on some coercion shit. But then again, if you try to blackmail me with some wild shit, I don't know. Let me leave the door open just in case. But come on, you was never making us feel comfortable that you want to let this Jane and Cassie bring down a man as being sex trafficked when you got Jane out here offering up freak offs on Valentine's Day. Cassie out here being a consenting ass adult talking about like, hey, I'm down to freak off tonight. Where you at, babe? What? As if we can't read these text messages that was coming out in week 1, week 2. Yeah, week 1, when Cassie was getting cross-examined. Week 1. Shit was coming out. These text messages and emails and shit. And then y'all ask me why I keep files. Fuck y'all. For this. That's why I keep my fucking files. A-verb ass nigga walking there talking about I coerced him. Word? Read these text messages and emails. Listen to this audio, bitch. Fuck out of here. Somebody stop me when I'm wrong. Wow. Not guilty as it should have been. Count 3, transportation by purposes of prostitution. Guilty. Okay. The government charged Combs with 1 count of transportation for purposes of prostitution related to Ventura. Prosecutors claim the music mogul knowingly transported Ventura and other male escorts across state lines and internationally for the purposes of engaging in prostitution. At multiple times between 2009 and 2018, Combs paid for Ventura and male sex workers to fly to cities across the world, including New York City, Los Angeles, Miami, Ibiza, in order to participate in freak-offs. We said that that's true. Letter of the law, they're going to get him on that. We was right. We was right. And when I read this, I don't really feel like it's about prostitution as it relates to Cassie. You're not sitting here saying after the freak off, he cut a check to Cassie and that was her payment for the sexual act. It's the escorts. It's the fucking escorts. They are considered prostitutes by the letter of the law. Stop this escort shit. They're considered prostitutes, B. Crossing state lines and, yeah, transportation for purposes of prostitution. All you fellas out there and celebrities and rappers and whatnot that was scared to death during this whole trial, right? When you flying these girls around, look at the title, count 3, transportation for purposes of prostitution. Let them text messages and DMs between you and Shorty that's setting up y'all link up. Let it be, what's up, babe? I can't wait to see you, man. You the way you talk to me and the way our minds connect, I can't wait to spend time with you. Okay? Don't stop grabbing these women that you never even had a single interaction with off websites, because remember, some of these escorts were coming off of websites on some Craigslist shit. Not Craigslist, but right? Fellas, be careful. If that's how you moving, where you don't give a fuck about nothing, you just scrolled your Instagram, saw a chick, and you got it like that. Hey, I got 10 grand for you, come politic with me. That DM will land you in this charge right here. Especially if you cut the check and they got that shit on record, the transaction, or they lean on her, give her immunity, lean on her. Hey, we're gonna fuck around, throw you in jail for 10 years unless you turn coat on him. Now here she comes with the text message. I ain't had nothing to do. Here's my phone. Jane ass chick, come. Real talk, fellas. Look, you got it like that, and you rocking with bringing these in and out the country with you or whatever state with them text messages, and that relationship better show consensual relationship type shit. Transportation for purposes of prostitution. That's what he got slapped on right there. For purposes of prostitution. He wasn't getting around that. Let's keep it 1,000. Combs and Ventura recruited male escorts mainly through the escort service Cowboys for Angels. All I need to do is just read a little bit further, ARP. Damn, sorry, chat. We are so on point. We nailed all of this shit. There it is right there. The escort service Cowboys for Angels. They were paid up to $6,000 to participate in freak-offs, but only received money when Combs felt their performances were complete. Even when he gave them the money, constitutes prostitution. I ain't trying to help you sugar daddies and you weird ass niggas that got to pay to play at that level. I ain't trying to offer y'all help. But if you are a Diddy out there, you fly her in, you take her shopping, right? You go to a store and you buy a pair of Air Force Ones, but you cash app her $10,000, or you give her $10,000 cash, even better. Cash is the least traceable. You give her $10,000 cash, you'd be like, this is for you to go buy your sneakers. And let her buy her Air Force Ones and pull a ginger from casino. Where's the rest of the money? Where's the change? Oh, I just stopped and played a few card games on the way back. Right? And what does De Niro say? Yeah, that's bullshit. She pocketed it. But now you want her to pocket it, right? You Diddies of the world, give it a 10 grand and say, this is for your Air Force Ones. There you go. All right? You Diddies out there, don't go on the Angels for whatever rent website, Find a picture and a name that you're attracted to. Book the shit. Have Cassie text the person, hey, we're going to be here. Here's your flight and itinerary. You meet. And then the moment y'all done fucking, you hand over the money and say, thank you for coming out. God bless you. Good night. Def Comedy Jam shit. Martin. Right? No. Dummy. No. To the letter of the law, prostitution and transportation for prostitution. All you Diddies out there, clean your shit up. Clean your shit up. All right. The charge carries a maximum 10 years in prison. So he's facing 10 for that. Okay. Count 4, sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion. Not guilty. Too much consent. Combs was charged with 1 count of sex trafficking as related to victim 2, his ex-girlfriend known under the pseudonym Jane. I wasn't never giving Jane or Cassie shit during this whole thing. So I'm glad that they didn't give her shit here. Prosecutors allege that Combs enticed Jane into the orbit under the promise of lavish trips, expensive gifts, a real relationship, and more. And she was there for all of it and loved it and enjoyed every moment. Or at least a lot of moments, I should say. All right, let me not go too far. He then pressured her into performing for freak-offs by controlling her financially through paying her rent. So all these girls out there that when we be joking, talking about it's tax season, you traffic the nigga or you coercion or that type of shit because he laid up with you for 3 months and it just happened to be tax season. He had a handout. Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, B. And he was paying the girl rent even while she was fucking sitting up there taking a stand against him. He was paying her rent. Jane. Daphne. You know what I'm saying? Allegedly. What type of sensitive society are we in if we say a nigga decides to start paying your bills and that ultimately can be turned into coercion or forced, whatever he asks you to do. So because I start paying, you know how many sugar daddies are in the world, B? Them niggas is hard. There's a lot, not all of them. There's a lot of harmless ass sugar daddies. All they got going for them is their money. Let's be real. How many niggas is not taking down these women, attracting these women, getting next to these women unless they got $1? Coercion now? Oh, because you needed the rent money that bad? It's forced now because I got it and you don't, and I gave it. Now you get to say anything that I asked you to do was forced because you didn't have your own rent money. Man, we can't be that sensitive in society, B. We can't. And if we are, imagine a day, ladies and fellas, imagine a day where we have to just say, hey, don't ask me to pay for shit because I don't want to go to jail. You know how many women will fucking let a president say that? He won't get a single vote, a single female vote. Let a president come out and campaign and say, I back the imprisonment for anybody that could possibly have somebody do something they may not be comfortable with because they are the breadwinner or the bill payer or the sugar daddy. Not a single fucking woman voting for that nigga. You want to know why? Because society already puts the man in the front as the what? The provider. Women are raised like that. I want a man that's going to provide security, take care of me, protect me, treat me good, provide for me. Shit, fathers be teaching that shit to their daughters. Stay independent, get your own, build your own career, but at the same time, find a man that can provide for you. Find a man that could do, God forbid, a father's teaching his daughter, you go ahead and go out there and make all the millions and find you a nigga that just treats you good and you could pay for him. Nobody teaches that to their daughters. Nobody. Man, the fuck out of here with that charge. I was trying to be calm when we was going over some of these streams, right? But now that it's fell down and we're right about a lot of this shit, we say get the fuck on with that shit. Because I don't want you to pull that shit on none of us. None of us. Trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, not guilty. Combs was charged with 1 count of sex trafficking as related to victim 2, his girlfriend, known under the pseudonym Jane. Prosecutors alleged that Combs enticed Jane into his orbit under a promise of lavish, blah, blah, blah. We read that. Jane testified that she felt obligated to perform in sex marathons as a result. Excuses for your wholeness. Oh, the whole world sees how much of a freaking slut and hoe I am, allegedly. I just want everybody to know I was forced. Fuck you. It wasn't forced shit. You gotta be kidding me. It would be some gold digging opportunist ass chick out here talking about when her shit gets seen by the world. Oh, I was forced. I was forced. I can't believe it, Jane. Jane testified that she felt obligated. Okay. The charge carried a maximum sentence of 15 years in prison and a maximum of life imprisonment. Thank God that 50s BM allegedly did not get Diddy life. Bitch really took the stand with that shit, yo. Bitch really took the stand with that shit, yo. Would Diddy still try to pull a string somewhere behind the scenes and send a hitman for some of these people 5 years from now? Bitch really tried that, yo. Really took the stand with that shit, yo. Count 5, transportation for purposes of prostitution. Guilty. That's the second one. Combs faced an additional charge of transportation for purposes of prostitution related to the travel of Jane and male escorts. Prosecutors said between 2021 and 2024, Combs had Jane travel across state lines in order to participate in freak-offs with male escorts, which were occasionally filmed. The charge carries a maximum sentence of 10 years. There you have it. So, the way I read it is the transportation for prostitution, they had 2 shots at it. They had a shot at it in Cassie's testimony and the relationship between Cassie and Diddy and some of the shit that they did involving escorts, freak-offs. And the second shot that they had at it was Jane. And what could have come back from the jury was, as it relates to Cassie, 11 years and all the shit that we seen, I don't think he's guilty on that one. Okay, well, how about Jane? The 3 years that they were together and some of those examples and situations that we heard testimony on. Did you believe that there was any transportation for prostitution involved in that? I do believe that one. So I don't think it's 10 plus 10 because he got slapped with both. I think it's 2 shots at it. And it's the same charge, which is transportation for prostitution. So it looks like, from what we're reading so far, people, Diddy is facing a maximum of 10 years for what he was found guilty of. If he gets to sentencing, do you see a judge giving him 10 of them, giving him the full max? I don't see it. And I maintain he catches a 5, a 6, a 7, considering what he was facing, life and all that. It's a win. Now, what if he gives him the max? What if he Young Thugs him? Right? Some people don't like Young Thug's situation because they like, yo, you're on eggshells. Some people love Young Thug's situation like, yo, there's murders and whatnot involved. And at the end of the day, you're walking around free. And as long as you don't break any of those terms and you sit down somewhere and you stay clean, you stay out of trouble. Right? Everybody looks at that different. What if they max Diddy out and say, of the 10, we're going to sentence you at 10, but parole in 5, parole in 3. Now, of course, you can go to parole and still get slapped. You can get denied at the parole board, right? But what if it's parole in 3, parole in 5, and then you just got to walk off the remaining outside on probation, right? Under certain stipulations and terms, right? Then you got the time served element, right? What if it's good behavior factors in, joins a program or two in there? I'm just saying. I think he fuck around and land, whether it's a combination of just the sentencing or the sentencing plus the factors of parole possibly and all this other stuff, where he might land exactly what we said was the win, anywhere in that 5-year window. When this is all over, maybe you come work for me. What is we said that this morning. We said that we was going to take a look at 50's response. Let's go over there. Let's go over there real quick. Let's see. Let's see if 50 is on anything. All right. Y'all can see my Instagram, right? Let me go on a small screen. Let me see. 50 is so hung up on AI these days. Everything he posts is a fucking AI video or image. 50 Cent, what does he got? What does he got? 31 minutes ago. Diddy beat the feds. That boy a bad man. Clap, clap, clap. Beat the Rico. He the gay John Gotti. Didn't I say this morning we're gonna come back today when the verdict comes and we're gonna fuck around and go to 50 Cent's page and see something immediately? It's too predictable. All right, so 50, your BM just tried to give Diddy life because she's a freaky opportunist. I need my rent paid ass hoe, allegedly. And you saying Diddy beat the feds. See, that's the thing about 50. You want to know why 50 has got a little bit of fraudulent reactions on his IG? Because he's going to take the laughing positive route regardless of the outcome. If Diddy was found guilty of the Rico and was facing life, the same picture would have been him laughing. The caption just would have been different. Fifth, we fuck with Fifth so much, man, but come on, man. You're doing things. It just got slowly but making us look at you differently. And we don't want to because we love 50. We don't want to. We are starting to beg. We're almost at that point. We're almost begging 50. These type of antics, can you curve it a little? I don't know. Like, so when he trolled Irv passing, you see the stream that we did? I said, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't necessarily agree with it because I think life is precious. But let's pull up all the history of Murder Inc. and 50 Cent and Supreme and his mother passing and the attempt on his life and the attempts to block his career and push him out the industry. And you say 50 as an individual is justified. Now, let me take that concept and move it to this. Diddy on trial. Did Diddy do something behind the scenes so bad to 50 that it could be justified that you really, really was hoping that this man landed with life? Is it just your BM? Is it the vodka wars of Ciroc and FN? What has you have this level of hate towards Diddy? Now, there are some men out there that the BM would be enough. If I feel like you targeted the mother of my child to turn her out and turn her into this sex slave, allegedly, I mean, we got to blame the woman first, right? But you're 50, right? You got us feeling like like you're stronger than that, right? You'll be all right, right? You call her a hoe just like you would any your first BM, and you'll move on and you'll find a different woman, right? I don't know. What's caption, B? Diddy beat the feds. That boy, the man. He beat a Rico. Yes, Diddy is now on the short list of how many people beat a Rico. It's funny too because it beat a hip hop niggas that's beating Ricos. So Gotti beat a Rico, right? Irv Gotti, 2 Gottis beat a Rico. How crazy is that? Irv Gotti beat a Rico. John Gotti beat a Rico. Are these the only 3 people that beat Ricos? Who has beaten a Rico charge? A number of high-profile individuals have either beaten Rico, racketeer influence, and corrupt organizations act charged entirely or had them dropped, dismissed, or resulted in acquittal. Here are some notable examples. Jay-Z? What? Jay-Z 99, never indicted. Oh, so the allegation was there, but they never indicted him. Okay, the allegations, rumors of ties to organized drug distribution and a potential RICO case tied to Rockefeller Associates. So he was never indicted, though. That to me almost feels like the little baby shit. If little baby indictment comes, it's going to be a RICO. It's going to be a RICO that's going to involve 4PF, fuck around and involve YSL again, or people. Just because I say YSL doesn't mean Young Thug, but yeah, they're not going to come at little baby. If they do, just with some it'll be a RICO, right? The outcome, no charges ever filed, investigated, but never indicted. His team shut it down early. Why it matters. One of the earliest rumors tying to hip-hop figures to Rico. Jay-Z famously rapped about dodging indictments. Number 2, Murder Inc. We know about that. The allegation, federal prosecutors allege Irv Gotti and Chris Gotti laundered drug money for Queens drug lord Kenneth Supreme McGriff, the Supreme, Mr. Supreme team himself. Charges, RICO and money laundering. Outcome, acquitted in 2005. Why they beat it. Defense showed the $250K in question. It was only $250? That's it? All right. I mean, Murder Inc. on its own was funneling millions and millions of dollars around. Yeah, Ja Rule, yeah, Ashanti, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Okay, $250K in question was a legitimate business deal. Prosecutors lacked direct proof of criminal enterprise involvement. YNW Melly, 2003 mistrial, partial acquittal. Allegation, RICO charges tied to his alleged gang, YNW, in addition to double murder charges. Outcome, RICO, it's only fucking John Gotti and rappers? RICO part dropped by prosecutors to focus on murder case. So they dropped it. They didn't go to the end of trial and he beat it. They dropped it. Okay. NBA Youngboy. Allegations. Feds linked him to gang activity and weapons charges under a broader RICO investigation. The outcome. RICO charges were never formally brought. So similar to Jay-Z, never brought, never indicted. YNW Melly, they brought him, but they dropped him. 6ix9ine. Oh my God. 6ix9ine. How did we forget that one? 6ix9ine had fucking RICO. Oh my God. 6ix9ine. Allegation, indicted under RICO for role of 9 Trey Bloods, racketeering, shootings, and robberies. Outcome, pled guilty and cooperated with feds. Got 2 years. Served 13 months. He served just over half of his time. That's what I mean about you never know what's going to happen at Diddy's sentencing. 6ix9ine served about half of his time that he was sentenced to. I mean, of course, he cooperated, but Casanova, not acquitted, pleaded guilty. So he didn't even fight it, right? Mentioned for contrast, Casanova was indicted under RICO, pleaded guilty 2022, and was sentenced to over 15 years. Young Thug, allegation, Georgia RICO tied to YSL being criminal enterprise. The outcome, we saw what the outcome was. It's only John Gotti and rappers? We must do better. We must do better. It's only John Gotti and fucking rappers. But Diddy is a neo. He's a first because Diddy is the only person of all the times the government used the RICO where he faced it by himself without any gang, group, or co-conspirators. He's the first. He's the first. Wow. But he beat it. So 50, gotcha. Oh, somebody put the camera on. You mad in his comments? He is. And that's fraudulent, 50. Because that's not even a real smile. I mean, when I say that, I don't mean it because it's a fake AI picture. I mean, genuinely, you're not smiling inside. Yeah. Come on, Fifth. You reel it in this. Don't make me feel like all this time and money changed you that much. You reel it in this, man. Niggas hit him with the camera. You mad. Look at this one. That's a nervous laugh. Wow. Y'all need to do something together for the culture. Wow. And what did he post before that? How do you want to fight? You're fighting someone who is too stupid to know they lost. That's a verb. Just keep hitting them till they stop moving. What's this one? Diddy just told me to tell y'all don't worry about him. He gonna hold it down. Real shit. See what I'm saying? You don't want to be laughing right now. You wanted your BM to take that man to life. Wow. Wow. Let's jump back over to inner city real quick. Let's see if there's any new. Oh, hold on. What's Boosie talking about?
The reason is, man, I'm so glad Diddy free, bro. The reason is,
Boosie is not free. I mean, will he get bail? We'll find that out around 1 o'clock. Or like the judge said, we got all day to figure out this. Should he get bail right now because you got your $1 million ready? Right? We got all day. But even if he makes bail, bail is not considered free. Free is when, right? He still got to go to sentencing and then he would have to go back in based on the time that the judge gives him. Come on, Boosie, wake up. You a jail nigga. You know this type of shit.
man, I'm so glad Diddy free, bro. The reason is because I'm tired of seeing us black moguls get took down like that, bro. And I'm tired of seeing us black people go against us black moguls like that. And I feel like if Diddy was a white man who done all this shit for people, I know he ain't paid people, but he done all this shit for hip hop. If he was white, they would have had so many white people out there protesting for this man losing his life behind a relationship.
Mm. Okay,
And
okay, Boosie, you getting better.
and people always Boosie was on Diddy's side. Nah, it ain't that. It's because I'm thinking about seven children. Y'all thinking about one person. I'm thinking about these 7 kids who been in my kids.
Some of his kids is grown men now. They facing their own charges. Boosie, slow down. One of them's in his 30s, and another one just got hit with a lawsuit the other day. They're not children, Boosie. He's got adult children, man.
Position. Not knowing if your daddy gonna come home or not is a burden on the child. So all y'all was like, no,
Oh
no, I'm
man,
thinking
they
about
doing
them
this in the
damn
chat.
children, man.
Oh man.
So man, I'm glad he's free, bro. Like I've been said, I don't feel he was guilty of nothing. Nothing but domestic violence. You know, but the court spoke, man, and man, I'm happy that dude children, man. I know his feeling right now, bro. I'm just happy for them children, man. So, did it sit your ass down somewhere? That's what you need to do. Grab Stevie J and your children and get the fuck on.
I didn't do it. I didn't spit nothing out. Yo. That is one of the coolest things about being live. Y'all see breaking news hits. We come up here, we start figuring it out. What's going on? Let's read the articles. Let's look at the videos. Let's go to Inner City Press. Check this out. Hey, well, I say, all right, let's go back over to Inner City Press and see if there's any new updates before 1 o'clock. We land on Boosie. Y'all, I did it right here in front of y'all. We land on Boosie. All right, let's see what Boosie talk about. He said all this powerful message and all this type of shit, had the nerve for that punchline at the end. The nigga said, go grab Stevie J and go sit down. Oh my God. There's not going to be a bigger bar to come out of today. July 2nd, 2025. You cannot top Boosie's bar about go grab Stevie J and sit down. Oh shit. How do I find a way to live stream, but yet be prepared for shit like that? Oh my God, he almost made me spit my fucking water bean.
It's feeling right now, bro. I'm just
Oh
happy for
my
them children,
God.
man. You know, Diddy, sit your ass down somewhere. That's what you need to do.
Yeah.
Grab Stevie J in your chair and get the fuck on.
Yo. Yo. I gotta tweet it. Yo. Yo. I gotta. Oh Lord, son. Oh Lord, oh Lord. Your man at Boosie. Where's Boosie batter? Yeah, your man Boosie said, grab your children and Stevie J and go sit the fuck down somewhere. Oh no. Grab your children and Stevie J and go sit the fuck down somewhere. I'm dead, B. I'm dead, B. I can't believe Boosie said that shit, son. After trying to give a powerful taking down a black man fucking message. Oh my God. Oh my God. All right, here we go. Okay. Shit. Damn. Oh shit. Okay, what's this? What do we got? Everybody outside after the verdict? Is that what this is? I kind of would expect to see more people than that, to be honest.
It takes a second for it to be launched on Twitter. Maybe it doesn't. There have been many streamers here. There have been many streamers here during the past month, and Inner City Press has yet to go live in front of the courthouse because we've been covering the case. But now that the verdicts are in, and what are the verdicts? Well, 3 not guilties and 2 guilties on the clearly the lesser charges, the Mann Act, transportation for prostitution. I'm expecting them to announce maybe this afternoon at the bail hearing that they're going to be appealing charges.
They're definitely appealing those. Remember, he has a dedicated person that Diddy hired to sit in court with him the whole time to be prepared for appeal. Right? They're definitely going to appeal these to the Mann Act related transportation for prostitution. Absolutely. But they definitely off rip have a very, very strong case of, hey, it's his first conviction and you want to hold him here now for prostitution? We got this $1 million ready. Where my bail at? Where my bail at, B? Oh shit. Let's see what else is going on in the city. 44 minutes ago. Okay, we up to date with them. Okay. Wow. I'm gonna go see if I can find anything else that's hold on. Let me put this on for a second. Let me go see if there's anything else that we can hunt down. Hold on.
On the racketeering charge, and the judge had them go back to debate some more to see the judge had them go back to deliberate some more to see if they could come to a unanimous verdict on the racketeering charge. I believe, were they still deadlocked on the? I believe they were ultimately still deadlocked on the racketeering charge, because Inner City Press, who is a reporter who's good to follow for court cases like this at Inner City Press, had posted that, if I have it right, that some of them had said, well, let me see here. Oh no, I might be wrong about that. They reached it. They maybe, I'm sorry. I think I'm misrepresenting what he said. I believe it was unanimous on everything. Sorry, this is me misreading something from earlier. So I haven't seen anything that suggests they were still deadlocked. So he was acquitted on that charge. It was not a hung jury. So scratch the last minute of what I said. I thought I had read something before. Just subtly, seemingly satisfied that he was acquitted on the most serious charges, says AP. Yesterday, the judge ordered.
I'm actually surprised that there's not a heavier police presence right there in front of the building, despite the profile of this case, to be honest. How many of my New Yorkers been to this building before?
The jury to continue its closed-door discussions today after the jury said it was unable to reach a consensus on the top count racketeering conspiracy. So between yesterday and today, the jury said they were stuck. And the jury said that we have people on who are saying guilty and not guilty on racketeering. And the jury thought they were not going to be able to come to an agreement. But clearly between yesterday and today, there were some switches on the jury on the racketeering charge because they reached unanimous not guilty on the racketeering charges. The racketeering is a charge is a criminal enterprise charge where I'm not an expert on this, but you need to prove that there's this ongoing criminal enterprise involving a conspiracy to commit crimes. So that's the most important. That's often used for organized crime cases. But that was the most serious charge, and not guilty on that, and not guilty on the not guilty on the sex trafficking. Yesterday, the jury said at the end of the day in a note to the court that there were unpersuadable opinions on both sides for the racketeering charge. But clearly, they were not unpersuadable. Racketeering conspiracy, says AP, is the most complicated charge in the trial and carries a potential maximum sentence of life in prison. The sex trafficking charges each carried a minimum sentence of 15 years in prison and a maximum of life. Transportation to engage in prostitution carries a max sentence of 10 years in prison. I believe it doesn't have a minimum. I'm not positive, but I believe it does not.
All right, I got something for y'all of relevance that we want to continue to keep track of. Diddy, at least right now, it seems to be very happy from the reports that's coming out with the outcome. Well, not obviously he wanted to be acquitted on everything, but for what he was convicted of, like he showed happiness in the court. They're saying people cheered right off rip. Mark is on his job trying to get him bail right there on the spot. I don't think he fears sentencing. I just look what we said this morning. I said Diddy, the way his everything that's been coming out surrounding this, he seems to be walking solid. So just think about it. Even if he doesn't make bail and he goes to sleep behind bars tonight, Diddy might have a sort of a sigh of relief. Like, it's over. I know what I'm facing now. I'm not going to serve life in here. I'm going to fuck around and be back outside in a couple of years. Right? He might be feeling that way. Right? But here's the other thing to remember. I pulled up a list of some, of course not all, of his civil suits. Okay, so when it comes to government seizures, that's off the table. He was not convicted of Rico, right, or federal seizures. So he should maintain ownership of all of his assets. You don't lose your assets because you get convicted of transportation for prostitution, right? And so he's keeping all his shit. That federal shit is out of here. Okay. Well, I should say federal Rico is out of here. Civil, Lord knows how he's going to deal with all of that when it comes to still maintaining his assets. Okay. Let's look at some of these ones that he's still facing, some of the serious ones. Alleged in 2017, a gang R lawsuit. Combs and his son, Justin, The plaintiff, Louisiana-based professional woman, claims she alleges Combs and his son Justin lured her to Los Angeles under false pretenses, drugged her, and orchestrated a brutal gang war with two masked men over a weekend. Number two, Tariq Connerly, 2017 assault lawsuit, claims accuses Combs and Justin, again with his son, of drugging, imprisoning, and gang R-ing her in Los Angeles in 2017. Okay, the Cassie one is here, but that's already paid off. Joy Dickinson Neal and Liza Gardner. This stems all the way back to allegations for 1990s. Joy alleges drugging and R-ing her in 1991 as a college student. Liza claims Combs and Aaron Hall, the singer, R-ed her and a friend in 1990 when she was 16. It was filed November 23rd, 2023, still pending in federal court. Jane Doe, 2003, gang R-ed and trafficked. This person is still unidentified, claims she was sex trafficked and gang R-ed in a Bad Boy studio bathroom in 2003 with involvement of Harvey Pierre and another man. Okay, that was filed in 2023, December 2023, still pending. Little Rod, we remember that one. That's dismissed, right? He opened up a can of worms for Diddy as well, but he's the music producer. He claimed in a filing in February 26, 2024, it included SA, harassment, being drugged. He woke up naked, allegedly, on Combs' yacht, threats and career sabotage. The complaint was later amended to involve Cuba Gooding Jr. That's when everybody started throwing dirt on Cuba Gooding Jr.'s name, talk about what the hell are you up to? They was looking at him closely. Status partially dismissed, remaining claims ongoing. You got April Lampros. I don't even know who that is. Mid-1990s to 2000s. She's a fashion protege. Claims alleged multiple assaults from mid-90s through 2000, including being drugged, coerced, and forced into sex acts and threats of her career. Derek Lee Cardello, sued for alleged sexual assault or SA via spiked drink in 1997 party in Detroit. Initially won a $100 million default judgment in September 2024, later vacated due to the service issues and faces dismissal. I was about to say, I never heard of Diddy having to pay up no $100 million. All right, so still facing this. Okay. Dawn Rashad. That's a popular one, right? Filed September 10th, 2024, around the time of Cassie, right? Alleged sexual battery, forced drug use, captivity in a locked car. He locked inside the car? Okay. Withholding royalties and witnessing Ventura's abuse. So nobody's going to care about that anymore. You're going to sue because I saw something that he was acquitted on or not charged with right now. I don't know. Thalia Graves. Thalia was that Spanish girl that did the press conference with all the forced tears. We looked at her like she was full of shit because Thalia, I'm going to say allegedly, but I believe Thalia she was the one that they got records on where she was trying to bribe her ex-boyfriend, allegedly. If you co-sign my story, I'll break you off some of the winnings. And her boyfriend exposed her, allegedly, right? Is that one Thalia we reported on it? Or was Thalia the one that was involved in Big Joe, the security guard? Or are they both the same person? Thalia, with the Big Joe, that he came back like, I wasn't even in the city or work. Like, you know what I'm saying? Thalia's whole situation looked like trash. It looked like a pure money grab. It was some bullshit, like what they hit in Zion with. But all right, so you got the Thalia Graves one, which is ongoing. Over 55 individual filings under pseudonyms alleging R, drugging, and SA and one of them is involving a 10-year-old boy from 2005. I believe this one right here that involves 55 plus individuals, all under pseudonyms, and a 10-year-old boy. I believe that's all Tony Busby shit. That's his 1-800 number shit, right? I'll say allegedly. But yeah, we remember that one. Outside of that, what does it have? Combs is currently facing over 66 civil lawsuits with at least 9 major active cases spanning alleged gang R, sex trafficking, drugging, assaults, and abuse, some involving minors. A few early suits have settled, but a bulk remain pending in the courts across New York, Los Angeles, Michigan, and elsewhere. Oh, and we didn't even just read Sarah's from Making a Band. She's got one too, right? So of course his focus is still, his immediate focus obviously is he's trying to get this bail. Whether he gets the bail or he doesn't, let's see how long it is before he gets the sentence. I'm pretty sure him and his legal team, and they'll push for a fast sentencing, right? Let's figure out what's going on. Get the sentence in. Let's say start serving his time. While he's serving his time, he still has all his assets. So his enterprise, his name, all his stuff that he's still attached to, music, master, streams, whatever, he's still going to be making millions of dollars. Remember when we Googled how much money Michael Jackson is still making per year? I know he's not Michael Jackson, but I'm just saying, even though he's in prison, he's still going to be making a lot of money. Still, the government ain't taking shit from him based on what he was convicted of. Still owns all his shit. And he's going to be spending a lot of that money to now possibly spend towards his civil suits, the lawyers. I mean, whether they're frivolous or not, you got to pay the lawyers to go fight them and to handle them, right? So while he's sitting down, Diddy's best case scenario is he gets the sentence in and he's got a pretty speedy parole, maybe parole in 3 years plus time served, whatever. He could touch back home in 2-3 years, and by the time he gets back home, at least half to 70% of his civil suits are settled or dismissed or beaten or whatever. That man would come back home and feel like could have gone any better than this, maybe, right? Considering the waterfall that the man faced, including a Rico, which many people think is unbeatable. Unbeatable. The feds come. What's the feds conviction rate? 90+%, right? He's now on that list with 6ix9ine and Irv Gotti and all that shit. All right. There we have it. Let me do a quick refresh to Inner City. It's only 12 p.m. EST, and we're supposed to be getting a 1 p.m. update. Let's see what that's
here at the Southern District of New York. Okay, here we are. Matthew Russell Lee, Inner City Press, here at the Southern District of New York. Day 35 of the Sean Combs trial, and this may be our last walk, at least during this trial, because the verdict is in. Not guilty, Rico. Not guilty, sex trafficking of Cassie. Not guilty, sex trafficking of Jane. 2 guilties, transportation of for prostitution as to both Jane and Cassie. Now, Mark Agnifilo has asked for bail. He's asked for immediate release today, and there's letters due at 1 p.m. The judge didn't say, no way, go back to the MDC and we'll have briefing. So it could happen. It could happen. And I'm pretty sure that the Mann Act charges are going to be appealed. Alexandra Shapiro, during the pretrial, said, the statute is unconstitutional, racist as applied. So I don't mean to, it's a tragic thing. I just spoke to somebody as I came out, and what I can say is that the conduct described is highly problematic. The thing that, I don't want to be graphic, but where Jane said, vomited between escort 1 and 3, and Combs apparently said, get out there and perform. But the thing is it a federal crime? Was it overcharged? I think, as I felt throughout, the prosecutors, for good reasons, from their point of view, we're trying to kind of break new ground and say, if you're an executive that uses your assistants to, provide procure and use sexual favors, you're going to be charged under Rico. Didn't work this time. I'd literally like to hear from the jurors. Personally, I think Jane's testimony wasn't that, the witness known as Jane wasn't that compelling for a variety of reasons. The prosecutors chose the witnesses that they did. There's 30 civil cases. There's more people out there. I don't know if they held tryouts, but it is what it is. I know that there were going to be many people very disappointed about it. I'd kind of like to know what turned them. I think it's significant that nothing was asked as to Jane and sex trafficking. I think that it wasn't even close, apparently. They looked at it in terms of Cassie. They looked at the threats made on the plane from Khan. They looked at the videotape and the aftermath. they looked at what Daniel Phillips saw, but they came back with a not guilty. The Mann Act charges were kind of slam dunk. You had transportation of Daniel Phillip and all the Cabral and their performance. So it is what it is. We're going to be covering the 1 p.m. letters and the hearing on bail afterwards. But for now, the Week 8 book is coming, and it's going to be a doozy. Week 8, Diddy on trial. To be continued.
Inner City Press, man. Stellar, good man. Stellar. With your tweets and coverage, the man's got access that a lot of the other reporters in the New York courtrooms don't even have. He's earned that in there. He fights to be able to get this type of reporting out to us. Inner City Press. You know what? If I'm gonna take note of it. If I find like his Cash App or something on his page, a donation link. He's got a Patreon. I don't want to sign up to any subscriptions. But if I find
here we are, Matthew Russell Lee.
If I find a Cash App or a PayPal or something for Inner City Press, I'm gonna send a little something. I feel like I've seen it before. I'll find it on his Twitter. They deserve it, even if it's a little $50. You know what I'm saying? They deserve it. If I could send Averb $100, I could send Inner City Press $100. You know what I'm saying? Like, he deserves it, man, for his constant coverage and the rapid tweets. He's giving us the actual dialogue. I can't type that fast on the keyboard. He's on right in there, just getting us the, great job, man, covering the Diddy trial. Inner City Press, great fucking job. Shout out to the chat. We were counting down to this moment. I don't know if I'm going to come back on stream to talk about whether he gets bail or not. We'll talk about that in the morning. 6:00 tomorrow morning. We'll be here. But how do y'all feel, chat? Like what y'all thinking? I'm not gonna jump right now. I ain't gonna jump. Let me start looking at the chat. If you are a part of the Sorry It's True podcast, we have been covering this trial since day one. Now that we have our verdict, how do y'all feel? Do y'all feel just this is what you expected? Are you in line with what the host has been saying this whole time? Do you feel like, nah, this is wrong? Like, how do you feel? Thank you, Jay. Throw it in the checks and balances chat for me, Jay. I'm gonna send him a little something today, man. He deserves it, man. He deserves it. Henry Ward says, I'm happy for Diddy. Okay. All right. You know what, Henry? Let me react to that. So saying I'm talking about me, not you, homie. Me, I can't say I'm happy for Diddy on a personalized level. I'm happy for the outcome, right? Kind of like how we don't want to see UMG lose this lawsuit to Drake. I don't think UMG are angels. They got a lot of lawsuits with a lot of different artists, even that are active right now, right? I think Limp Bizkit, I think Salt and Pepper, I think Drake. I'm not here championing for UMG as a record label or whatever. I don't know what they on. I don't know. They could be dirty as shit. As much money as they making, shit, they ain't angels. You don't get to $60 billion a year or being worth $60 billion and your hands is clean. I'm just saying, this is the real world that I live in. But we have a problem with Drake impacting battle rap and hip hop competitive nature pertaining to the lawsuit. So when I look at this, I'm not personalized to Diddy. I'm not like, come on, Diddy, free Diddy. I'm not personalizing it like that. I'm saying you put any man in those shoes. I don't like this case and these federal charges. That's where I stand. You know what I'm saying? So small difference of how we, I guess, equate the happy factor there, Henry. But I appreciate the feedback there. What's Kay talking about? Our member Kay says, jurors made the right decision. I understand the transportation verdict and not guilty for others. We nailed it, y'all. We fucking nailed it, chat. We really did nail it. I said, yo, he's getting caught with some of these. And we did the jury sheet breakdown yesterday. He's getting caught with some of these. He is. Letter to law. Letter to law. Got my members in the building. Says, is Bull though what he was accused for? I'm not surprised that prosecutors dropped the ball. So do we feel that the prosecution is the reason why? So I got to do a little bit more learning about this. The prosecution is not involved in building the case, correct? I'm thinking this out now. I'm not 100% sure. I'll do the knowledge on it later. But I don't think the prosecution is part of building the case. I think they're responsible for delivering the prosecution in court, right? Meaning the grand jury makes the decision of whether what's at stake is going to move forward or not. That's what Little Dirk tried to disrupt and say there was bullshit that went into the grand jury, came out, so I'm not supposed to be in the first place, so the indictment should be trashed, right? The people in the grand jury are not the prosecutors, right? So you have the grand jury process. The people that built the case, that's the feds, right? Whether the federal agents, the people that are out there interviewing some of these women, go grab the drug mule, sit them down in a cage and say, hey, man, I want to give you immunity, but I want you to testify in this upcoming Diddy indictment. Shh, nobody knows about it. It's going to happen 6 months from now. That's the feds working. So you got the feds doing their investigation and building and putting together the case, right? Grand jury making a decision based on what comes to grand jury, and then the prosecution getting in there and delivering the movie. I think that's how it goes, right? So if we say the prosecutors dropped the ball, when we were watching cross-examination and the examination of the witnesses on trial and everything, there were times where I felt the defense was putting up great fights. And there was other times I was like, oh, the prosecution is going right here. You know, the prosecutors in this case don't feel anything like the prosecutors in the YSL trial. Nothing like it. We were looking at the prosecutors in the YSL trial sometimes like that's negligence, that's ignorance, that's stupid, hence dropping the ball. Here, me personally, as we were going through the daily updates and everything, I wasn't encountering any updates where I was like, these fucking prosecutors are stupid as shit. Who hired them? I never felt that way. I thought the prosecution did a solid job, bare minimum. I don't know. Maybe I'm forgetting something. But all right. Let me see how y'all feeling though. Let me see how y'all feeling. Ooh, I'm gonna leave that between y'all in the chat. Remember, Get Ready says, I expected this outcome. He wasn't going to get off scot-free. We nailed it, y'all. We fucking nailed it. I don't know about what else people was feeling out there, but we nailed it. I expected this outcome. Yeah, nothing scot-free, of course. Yeah. Bequeeze says, couldn't have been said better. Appreciate you, homie. What's up? You tried it in the building. What's she talking about? She says, I'm just glad that they're not going to be able to lock up regular people. The repercussions would be astronomical. If he got convicted on all counts, it would become case law for so many things. Absolutely. You see, when we read the paperwork of some of these cases and the lawyers, they reference these past trials in their indictments time after time after time. They're reminding the judge, you should understand where I'm coming from, because this same situation or something relevant to it happened in 1996, and here's the case number. You see what I'm saying? So now, 5 years from now, some other guy could be fighting the fact that he flew in some IG model. Now he's getting brought up on sex trafficking. They would reference this case. You tried it on spot. You nailed it right there too. You nailed it, love. You nailed it. What's Jay talking about? Jay says the next Diddy album is going. He's not putting out any music. Then again, he hot right now. If he go do a documentary or a book, or how much would Diddy's interview be worth right now? I gotta pause for a second, make up a realistic number. How much would Diddy's interview be worth? It's got to start at 5 million. And I might be low. I might be lowballing. A Diddy exclusive. We haven't heard a word from Diddy since he's been taken into custody. All right, hold on. If I add more context, we could definitely up to 5 million. The first time you hear Diddy talk as an exclusive, so he's not on a tour like the Punisher escort guy, and it's a tell-all about his thoughts, his experiences, and also his response and reactions to the testimonies of, let's say, Cassie, Capricorn, and Jane. Oh my God, you at 20 million now. I'm not ODing. I swear to God, the way that people could turn that type of content, a TMZ, like that's a $20 million interview. This is Diddy. Real talk. If he's gonna talk about, oh yeah, so what Cassie, what Jane was talking, let me tell you how me and Jane met. $20 million, B. I ain't bullshit. A 3-hour segmented Diddy tell-all sit down, the world would stop. The whole fucking world would stop for that shit. What? 20 million. Somebody could approach Diddy and say, hey man, so how's all them civil cases working out? I'm kind of in a hole right now. I'm about to file this bankruptcy the same way 50 did when he was into it with Rick Ross and Rick Ross's baby mother. About to file his bankruptcy. Well, does $25 million fix your problems? You know how many people in the world got it like that? Some of these super mega wealthy people and sports team owners and shit. 25 million, that's all you need? Shit, Diageo could throw that his way. People that's already in works with Revolt could throw it. Jay-Z could. Then again, maybe I'm too low because Diddy got that money, but will $20 million help you? Here you go. I need a 5-hour tell-all sit down. $20 million. Easy. Bring the timeline back, homie. So in summary, Diddy was only found guilty on transportation for prostitution based on Cassie as well as Jane. Okay. He's facing up to 10 years of sentencing. And right now they are counting down to 1 p.m. because his lawyer, Ignifilo, which is his lead attorney, is already proposing to the judge for him to get bail for $1 million on the spot by being confined to, I believe it said LA, Miami, and New York. $1 million bond on the spot. We don't even have our private plane. Our private plane is in Maui. We ain't going nowhere. This is only prostitution that y'all have us with. We have just been acquitted on Rico. Where's my bail? On the spot. And the judge said, let's argue this back at 1 p.m. Prosecution, I see that you want to fight against this. Write me up a letter. So in about 45 minutes, that's what's about to happen. But yeah, he's facing about 10 years for the transportation and prostitution piece of it. The Mann Act stuff. There's no date. Shout out to Darren. Our member says when is sentencing? There's no date yet. Whether we hear the date today or not. If we don't get the date today, that's when I'm going to go back to start following his docket. Okay. So there's no sentencing date yet. Next step should be this bail thing, and maybe sentencing date will be discussed. But we on watch for that. Gotcha, love. Miles says they could have let ARP and the chat be Diddy lawyer. Not that we like Diddy, but we all thought logical and talked through it. We did a great fucking job, chat. This is like the first long, big, super high profile trial that we honed in and locked in on like this. Daily updates and shit, and followed it. We locked in. And that bolsters us as having the capabilities for other people that don't know us like that yet. You know what? when it's time for a Kendrick and Drake battle, we know that the Sorry Shoot podcast got something going on over there, chat and host wise. Oh, Diddy, next Diddy. Yeah, let's head over there, man. Let's see what's going on with them. And they be accurate as shit. They be logical. They be smart. They be entertaining. If I could cash app the whole chat, I would. I don't got it like that though. If I could, I would, man. You know what I'm saying? If I could, I would. Amazing job, chat. Yeah, y'all was on point. This is the reason victims don't testify. If the system's so flawed like this, they testified. There's a lot. Jane is still getting her rent paid. She's up there for 8 days. I think that's what Inner City Press just said, though. He said he doesn't know how the feds and the government and the prosecution chose who they want to take the stand, because there could have been other people out. He's got over 66 civil lawsuits that we just talked about 10 minutes ago. If you got over 66 civil lawsuits, what type of information and situations do they have that possibly could have been put on the stand for the prosecution to further hone in and prove out things like sex trafficking, which he was acquitted of? I don't know. Did they rush? I don't know. We're going to get more and more details out, but did the prosecution rush? Was there alleged victims that they should have gone in the direction of? Did they need a little bit less of Jane and a little bit more of somebody else? Did they need more escorts for the sex trafficking? I don't know. Did you need somebody else other than a girlfriend like a Cassie or a Jane to be on the other side of an escort to prove out the sex trafficking in the Rico? I don't know. We're going to continue to discuss that stuff, but I don't think, I respect this comment. I see where you're coming from. I just don't think that this scares people off from testifying, because shit, the biggest testimonies, the top 3 testimonies are the reasons why he caught the charges that he did catch, Jane and Cassie. And that's why he's facing 10 now, maximum of 10. So dope comment though. Dope comment. He should do an autobiography called Take That. Here's a funny question. Would you buy Diddy's autobiography? I had Superhead's book for a second. I had LL's book. I had was it 50's book? I have 50's book, The 50th Law of Power. I might have it down here somewhere. I might. If I got it over there, if I'm down, I would literally go grab it. I picked up some of those classic books that everybody was talking about when I was younger. I didn't even read Superhead's book, but it was such a hot topic, I bought it. You know what I'm saying? You didn't have to read that. You heard about it all through the streets, and you didn't even have to read it, to be honest. I haven't seen it in years. I don't know if I threw it out, gave it away, lost it, and I don't know. Diddy would be a fool to do an interview. Well, you have the double jeopardy type of stuff, right? You got those double jeopardy laws that protect you from being tried over something twice and whatnot. And yo, I'm live. What's up, G? I'm live. I'm live.
You going live? I thought you go live and see so much to happen. You live again? What happened?
The Diddy verdict came down.
Oh, what they say? What happened?
So he got convicted. So he beat the Rico. He beat sex trafficking, but they found him guilty on transportation for prostitution as it related to Cassie as well as 50 Cent BM. He's facing up to a maximum of 10 years. Right?
He gonna probably do time, so he gonna probably get a little.
Yep.
Well, he ain't been in jail that long, though.
No, I mean the time served is small, but you still got the programs, and that's the max. You don't know what if the judge hit him with only 5 as sentencing, or even if he hits him with, let's say, 7 or 8 out of 10. What if it's with the opportunity for parole in 3 or parole in 5?
Yeah, man, 3. He have to do another year or something.
Yeah.
Another
Yeah, so you never
Okay.
know. So they said the reports came out of the courtroom that as he exited, everybody was clapping and cheering. So, and he looked like he had a positive response. So they're kind of feeling like this was a good
They
outcome for
clapping
him.
and cheers.
Yeah.
They clapping and cheering like supportive clap cheers.
Meaning that they feel like this was a good outcome, for him.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, like we said, like everybody know, like with that was just a freaky case. I wasn't with the domestic stuff. I ain't like the beating up cat. You know what I'm saying? I'm never with that. So that's the only thing I was kind of, because I don't care what a man do in their bedroom. Like I ain't got nothing to do with me. You know what I'm saying? So when I saw the case, I'm like, okay, where the Rico at? Where the sex trafficking? Where the kids? All that stuff they were saying. When I saw it wasn't that, I'm like, yeah, I think he just get punished for the domestic. You know what I'm saying? And going by that was embarrassing kid. They wanted to embarrass him though. That's what that was.
Yeah.
They knew he was gonna beat the Rico.
We on the same page. Like nobody liked the type of person that he was revealed to be, the domestic stuff. But once again, the crazy thing about the domestic stuff is that belongs in state court, not federal court. You know,
Yeah.
so they could. It's not like they
Yeah.
could have even just hit him with, all right, we're gonna let him go of the sex trafficking and all that, but we're gonna catch him on a domestic dispute and an assault charge. That would have been state charges. Then they pulled him into federal for Rico.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
it's bugged out. But not it seems like this is a decent outcome for him. You know what I'm saying? And I think they
Like
say
the damage that really been done. My fault. I cut you
okay,
off.
okay.
The more damage, the damage that got done was the embarrassing. Cause that time they gonna give him a little stuff. He gonna be out of the year probably. But that's the most. That was embarrassing. That was like on a freaky level, like of the stuff that was saying and him and the men and just all that stuff. That's the most damaging for real.
You could never unsee the type of shit that they was painting up there. So they was painting pictures of this freaky ass shit he was doing. You can't see Diddy and not see that shit.
Oh my god! Like So that's that definitely learned. I mean, so that's what it is. But I'm just leaving the gym. I just call you later about the situation. So I got a follow up call. So
that same thing, that thing from yesterday.
Yeah.
All right, I got you in a second.
Yeah.
All right, bro. Yeah, that's actually that business deal I said on stream, I think yesterday or something like that. I said Holla got another business venture that I literally was on the phone with him and potential business. Once again, this motherfucker and his following. The same way he got approached by Coastal Rain. Hey, we see you. We want you to be involved. We want to launch something with you doing this. He also got approached for the massage parlor. You know, this is just him and his celebrity and people going to him. When you keep your karma good, when you keep your reputation good, when you have the type of following that he has, people come to you. And the same thing happened to him with another business venture about 2 weeks ago or something like that. And they put together a WebEx call for him yesterday. And he pulled me on, you know, he's like, hey, AR, I want you to overlook, you know, take a look over my shoulder with some of this stuff. You know, I jumped in there, asked some questions, help fill it out or whatever. But these people are, and I can't tell you what business venture it is, but they're ecstatic about working with him. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, this fucking guy be kicking ass when it comes. It is what it is. I see why some of y'all get jealous. But anyway, yeah, man. Let me keep going with the chat. Let me keep going with the chat. Members, what's up? If Diddy can get Cassie as a stop. Yo, Ark, you bugging. If Diddy can get Cassie as a feature, I'll count that as a win. Oh my God. If her husband don't divorce her between now and then, you can't play his music in our house. You can't watch his video in our house. You can't be around him, let alone a feature. Nigga, the internet would stop for that. That's never gonna happen, but that would break the internet. B. I watched battles. JKG became a member. Salute, homie. Thank you for becoming a member and joining the Green Gang over here. We are getting real heavy and strong when it comes to our membership club over here. I don't even know the numbers, but we getting deep. Off the top of my head, I don't even know. I look at them like every other month, but we getting deep, y'all. Members, what else y'all got for me? See, this is how I know there's a lot of chat, and I'll fuck with the chat, But it's times like this where we got a lot of activity where I hone in on the got you, G. Where I hone in on the members and I hone in on the mods and I hone in on the family from checks and balances, because there's so much in there, and I wish I could bring everybody up on screen and we can get all this feedback. And you know I respect my chat over here. I always bring y'all up, but right now it's a lot going on, man. Hit that like button. I'm a new member, not a new watcher. That's a bar. You ain't got a bar heavier than what Boosie said earlier. I don't know if you've seen that part of the video. If you haven't, rewind it. Boosie got the bar of the day. You just dropped the bar, but Boosie got the top spot today, man. I swear. If you don't know what I'm talking about, rewind the stream. That was a bar, though. I watched Battle JKG. I'm just gonna call you JKG. Appreciate you, homie. I gotta bring this one up, man. Thank you, Mr. Hunt. Why do we feel like it's all of us feel like this is some mission accomplished shit because the Diddy trial verdict came in? We bugged out. Hold on. Is that y'all fault? It's my fault too. What the fuck are we doing? We ain't getting no extra check today. You know what I'm saying? All right, verdict came in. Now let's move on. Tomorrow we'll be back to talk about Aver. Nah, all right. Let me be serious. We did a good job. All right, I'm serious again. I don't want to confuse y'all. Is he serious? Is he joking? Is he serious? Is he joking? I appreciate that, G. Thank you. Okay, appreciate you, homie. Any other members I haven't brought up yet? Got you, G. With you, same page. What K talking about? Prodigy book is amazing. My infamous life. It's audio as well, right? It's audio, but I think I listened to some of it online. If I remember correctly, Prodigy also has an audio book. I'd be lazy, man. I don't read novels. I used to hate novels as a kid. I used to hate having to read in school. I read very well, but I hate novels. People be telling me, don't watch the movie, read the book. I'm like, fuck you. I'm watching the movie. Yeah, that was holla. We'll talk more about what he got going on in a second. Bequeeze says you also have the same charges they could possibly charge with different victims. That's why I said he'd be a fool to talk about this. He's also got civil suits going on. Of course, the best advice to Diddy right now is shut the fuck up. Even if you're celebrating inside, you also have to show humility. You have to show that you don't even believe that you should be getting hit with these charges. He can't smile. You know what I'm saying? He can't do those things for obvious reasons. All jokes aside. But it's Diddy. He's gonna talk sooner or later. He fuck around and talk even from prison. He's gonna talk sooner or later. I wouldn't buy his book, but I would read it. Somebody will have it online for free. Yeah, sometimes people look at the monetary piece of it as being a little bit too far. You know, it's like, I ain't buying R. Kelly next album, but if the DJ just happened to put it on in the club, that type shit. I feel you. Money Machine Mont is in the building, says 20 years ARP is 10 per charge. So that's what I was saying earlier. 10 per? You're going to make me extend this portion for a second of the stream. You sure? I thought they had 2 shots at the same charts. Okay, let's take a look at this. Hold on. Because that is nothing that his people in the courtroom should be clapping about. Because once again, watch this. Let's double check. How old is Diddy? He's 50-something, right? He's 55 years old. So even if he gets 60, he better not walk away with 10. I don't know the man personally. I just feel like what we see about him, Diddy is still fully entrenched in living the lifestyle. You start talking about 10 and all that type of stuff, you take him out of that last era that he has of that type of lifestyle and enjoyment and entertainment and stuff like that. Even physically, you just take him out of it. You know, he's just too old for certain stuff. And he's turning 56 in a couple months in November. All right, so that's the first thing. How much time is Diddy facing after his conviction today? Is it 10 plus 10 or is it 10 total because it was 2 shots at the same thing? Let's check this, Mont. All right, Sean Diddy Combs was convicted today, yes, of 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution, Mann Act violations, each, fuck, as soon as I see the word each carrying a maximum sentence of 10 years. They can't run concurrent, meaning he now faces up to 20. Yo, Mont, you're right. There's not sentencing yet. Bail, we don't see that. That's 1 o'clock. That's 30 minutes from now. There's no mandatory minimums in these charges. That's good for him. So if the judge says, I'm only going to give you 1, which ain't going to happen, but there's no mandatory minimums. But a judge could impose up to 20 years. Great job, Mont. Great catch. So it's not 2 shots at the same charge. 1 shot with Jane and 1 shot with Cassie. He's facing 20 total. Can those 2 charges run concurrent? Yes, those 2 charges could run concurrently, but it's up to the judge. Here's how it would work. Concurrent sentences, he would serve both 10-year sentences at the same time, meaning a maximum of 10 years. That's a fight that his lawyers got to go with right now to make sure or to ask or to push for them running concurrent. Of course, you got to fight the prosecution, trying to get him as much time as possible. Can they get him to run concurrent because it's the same shit with 2 different people? Or do you feel like Diddy needs to serve time for those 2 women separately for that charge? Chat, y'all take y'all opinion on that. But yeah, concurrent versus consecutive is a big difference. So it's like if the judge comes down in sentencing and says, as it relates to the transportation and prostitution of Jane and the testimony and what I've seen and how I feel about all of that, yada, 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 and you getting convicted of that, I'm going to give you 5 years for Jane, that 3-year stint that y'all knew each other. As it pertains to Cassie and the 11 years of y'all together, and she was a little bit younger when y'all met, and I feel like she was a little bit less consenting and blah, blah, blah. This other girl, Jane, shit, she had a whole baby outside of you and all that, even before y'all started hanging out. So I'll give you 5 for her. But for Cassie, I have a little bit more feeling towards you were more of a monster, right? I'm gonna max you out at that 10. If it's consecutive, then it's 15. If it's not consecutive and it's run them in concurrent, you take on the larger one. So the larger one would be the 10 and the 5 would run concurrent with that, right? And overall, you'd be doing the 10. So and it's not mandatory for these charges to run consecutive. This is the judge's turn. Sentencing is going to be a big deal. We're going to have to do a stream for that, like leading in, but also like, it just came down. Let's cut the stream on. Will he get maxed out in either one? Will he get small on either one? Will he have parole set? If so, how long into his sentencing? Can he have an opportunity for parole or probation? Will the charges run consecutive? Will they run concurrent? Yeah, we're gonna see. Right now, though, he wants to get out of there. See if he can get bail, just like Lil Durk. Well, I know I got shit going on. I know I got time to face possibly coming up, but at least let me out of here for now. Shit. And if you let him out, then your lawyers do your best to push off sentencing as much as possible. If he got to go sit down, he's denied bail. Can we figure out sentencing tomorrow, please? But if you're going to give him bail, I got this going on, I got that. I'm trying to get this together. I'm trying to do that. Judge, can we please push sentencing out until July 2026? You know? Mm. Mm. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. It's tough stuff going on. Big Size says Diddy grabbing up my kids and Stevie J. Like, whoa. Yo, Boosie won. He's got the comment of the day. Boosie fucking won, B. Boosie was crazy with that one. Did I see this one earlier? Shout out to BK Stunner, one of our new members. Salute, homie. Shout out to you. Welcome to the Green Gang. There was an audiobook, right? Okay. Ooh, sentencing for him, man. That's the big deal right now. Okay, what else we got going on? What else we did? What did you try to just say here? She said, I'm thinking 2 years for each charge to run consecutively and 10 years probation. Shit, he'd take that happily. He like, I don't care how much probation. You want to give me 20 years probation? I'm going to sign the dotted line. I just need to get out of here. Because there's really no negotiating with the judge, right? The negotiating, like even when we watch the YSL sentencing, the negotiating comes in the forms of like the stipulations and shit. Like Brian Steele threw out there to the judge, like, can you do us a favor? Allow him to visit Atlanta if he has like a sick family member and shit. Like, because at first they was like, no Atlanta for you. Goodbye. Can't be there no more. And you throw that little thing in there, and the judge was like, I'll accept that. But I've never seen before judges like, when it comes to the charge and the convict, boom, boom, this charge, when it comes to this, all right, so now I'm going to give you consecutive 5 and 5. I've never seen it. The fucking defense comes back like, I mean, can you take that down to 2 and 2? And the judge is like, what? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the judge's, it's his time now, you know? And just got to sit there. You be seeing them videos where the lawyers is like this and the defendant is pissed off as shit because the judge is handing down the sentencing. Lawyer can't do nothing at that point, you know? Can't do shit about the years that the judge decide on. This ain't no negotiation. Fuck is you talking about? Fuck is you talking about? This last 2 days, the Green Gang has been going crazy. Rose Gold, what's good, G? Welcome to the team. And your first comment that I see as a member is, how does he explain his actions to his daughter? So one of the shittiest things as a father for Diddy with a daughter is you could only explain but so much that isn't there for the person to see for themselves. It'd be one thing like if it's like a rumor or something like that, and you sit the person down, it's like, listen, don't listen to that shit. Let me tell you what's going on. And that's it. You got all these videos. This is one of the biggest celebrity trials ever. It's Diddy. And it's going to be books. There's going to be talk. There's going to be references for ages. And you can't avoid hearing that and seeing it. So how do you explain that to your daughter, right? When you got 1 billion people online saying you freaky, you nasty, you did this, you got the women, you got the witnesses, you got the testimony, they're going to put books out sooner or later. They're going to put documentaries out. There's going to be a Diddy movie 5-10 years from now. How do you combat that? You can't, you know? You just got to hope that platonic father-daughter thing is there, where it's just like, I'm always in your favor. I always use the same example of Jeffrey Dahmer's father still being there at every fucking court date to support his son, knowing that he was eating motherfuckers. That's your best bet. I'm not saying Diddy's Jeffrey Dahmer. I'm not saying that, but that's what you got to hope for. That's the truly, I feel, in this world, the only unconditional love in this world is between parent and child. Everything else is conditional. A parent that raises their child, they don't give a fuck if that child went out to the world and killed 50 people. They still, there's something in their heart that just can't be changed, you know? So past that, if he tries to explain it, he's got to go the adult route. He's got to wait till his daughter's of a certain age and say, you know, every man and woman is into certain things. And when you meet your husband, you're going to be in certain things. And that's what I was into, babe. Take the adult mature route. That's it. I I think it's worse to try to explain to your daughter why daddy's on camera beating the shit out of this woman in the hotel, and while these other women is up on stand saying I hit him with clothes hangers and dragged him and kicked him, and the Cassie picture comes out with the split fucking eye and all that type of shit, and the bruises on her back and all that. That's the harder conversation with your daughter, opposed to, hey, daughter, I'm freaky with Astroglide and baby oil. No. Why are you beating on women? That's the big conversation. Shout out 3 in the building. He says, watch him go to his Miami home in Star Island. I'm just saying, if I get home detention, I'm in paradise because all his cribs is dope. The smallest one I think is the New York one, but it's still dope. You know, I'm not saying that people want to be on house arrest, but just Eric, bless up to the chat. Hope everyone has a great 4th of July. Appreciate you, Just. Thank you. All right. I think the last big piece was us differentiating the concurrency versus the consecutive years, being that it's the 10 and 10. That little bald one's a beast. Salute, homie. Haven't seen you in forever. One of our mods and members. Probably because we be 6 o'clock in the morning. You're more of an afternoon person. Shine out. Diddy in. Oh, shit. Shine did like 10 though, right? How much time did Shine serve? Oh shit. Niggas is dropping bars. How much time did he serve? He served 10 years. 10 years in New York State Prison. 10 years. Nigga said Shine out, Diddy in. Oh. Imagine if Pac was alive and it was like a Pac out, Suge, you know, like, wow. Shit. Oh man. Jeezy says he going straight home to a freak off. Diddy, if you ever come across the Sorry It's True podcast, for the last couple of weeks, we have been advising you to just start a porno company and do all this shit legally and make money and have tax write-offs. You don't got to take our advice, but it is advice. You could do everything you want to do. What's Ethan saying? Ethan says, we just saw what happens when you got bread to fight the case. Everybody knows the difference between paid for attorneys and publicly appointed attorneys. Fuck yeah. It's a whole system thing. The system is definitely involved there. The money moves around. The hours move around. The requirements to even be there in the first place moves around. There is a systemic motive that's wrapped up in all of that shit, of course. But you still want your paid lawyers regardless, you know. But all right, I finally made it to the bottom of the chat. I know they're saying at 1 o'clock they want to reconvene to talk about if they're going to give him bail or not. I'm not going to hold us here because I don't know if we're going to get those updates right away. For all I know, we wait till 1 o'clock and those updates is taking a while. We don't know. So we'll talk about that bright and early 6 o'clock in the morning. But as promised, when the news breaks of his verdict, we're going to go live. So we was here. Shout out to the chat. We followed this one all the way through completion. And now let's see the aftermath, the civil suits, the sentencing, the bail, the other people talking, some of the alleged victims, how they feel, how it is going to be a lot of the ripple effect now that the verdict is in will continue to, right? So we'll watch all of that. But as far as guilty, not guilty, it's done. All right, y'all. Sorry It's True. Congratulations on all the hard work. Y'all appreciate y'all support. And we'll be back 6 o'clock in the morning.
Don't confuse silence with work ethic. I'm a boss making decisions, my first fetish. The verse cherished is perfect, that's a reverse blemish. I dropped it, connected the block, learn Tetris.
This is the Sorry It's True podcast. Welcome to the house of. And shout out to the members.
I think still got a gun.